Yo, yo. What up, y'all? What up? Welcome back. Welcome back. 2021 is finally here. It's good to see some familiar names in the chat. We got Beehive Music. What is up, y'all? It's 2021. Really excited to be back with the live stream. Took a little break there. Didn't play for those. Didn't come to the stream for the last 2 weeks. Just felt like I really needed that time to just relax, man. To just be lazy, to enjoy my family. It's always good to take that time to rejuvenate, and feel fresh going into the new year. But we're back. We're back to doing it Tuesday nights. I don't plan on missing a single Tuesday for the rest of the year, with the exception of maybe in 2 weeks. I'm going to Cabo with my girlfriend, potentially. So if that goes through, might be missing that week, but who knows? Maybe I'll get a guest to come on in my place so that we can keep this going. So really excited, guys. Wanted to talk to you guys about the stream a little bit. So this year I'm really planning on doubling down. Started the stream, I think, back in July, and kept it going all of 2020. And I think it was really good for me. I think it was good for me to share a little bit of my knowledge, get my feet under me here on Twitch and on YouTube. And I think it was really good for me. But in that time, I really discovered, I think, what I want to do with this channel. So I'm really excited about where I'm going to be going with it. So for the rest of the year, kind of what I'm planning on doing is like a 3-to-1 ratio of just me producing in the studio and having like once a month where I have a more in-depth episode. A lot more research is going to go into it. A lot more production is going to go into it. Going to be trying to have some guests on. Going to be trying to do more in-depth dives into specific topics that you guys are struggling with. Really trying to make more valuable content for you guys and for future people that are watching this video over on YouTube. By the way, if you haven't already, make sure to click that follow button on Twitch or hit subscribe on YouTube and hit that little bell notification icon so you'll get notified every time I post a new video. So yeah, 3-to-1 schedule mostly. So like once a month, expect a more high value stream. And then the other 3 weeks, I'm just going to be working on my music. A big part of what I want out of this stream, especially in 2021, is just to keep me in the studio on a weekly basis, guaranteed. Hold myself accountable to that. That's a huge part of it. And then the second part of this stream, reason I started it, is really to just share what I know, because I felt like I was learning things in the studio that I wish I could share with others, but it's difficult sometimes to remember those things as well as right then and there when you're working on it. So hopefully this can be a good place for new producers to be learning, to be continuing to level up, and to be sharing knowledge. So really excited about where we're going to take the stream this year. Have some good expectations for goals. Going to be trying to get more people in here on a week-to-week basis. So we'll see what happens there. Anyways, so wanted to touch a little bit on it because it's the first Tuesday of the year that I'm doing the stream. Goal setting. I think goal setting, guys, is so important, especially if you're a producer. If you're anything like me, I imagine you don't just have 80 hours a week to be working on music. You probably have a full-time job or at least part-time job. Maybe you're going to school. Maybe you got kids that demand your attention, guys. Time is short. So it's really important to set goals for yourself so that you can work back from those goals and come up with, small, achievable tasks you can do on a week-to-week basis to start working towards that goal. So I think it's super important. For me this year, my goal is to, I think last year I put a lot of pressure on myself to write a lot of songs. And I think I set myself a goal of like 10 songs. I think I only ended up writing 8 songs. And what I realized last year was that it just takes me time to make a full song, and that's okay. Like, I don't have to put all that pressure on every song to just come out as fast as possible. And I realized that I don't have to make 30 songs. I just have to make like 8 really good ones. So this year I want to make 8 new songs, and then the next part of my goal is to release at least 6 of the songs that I've written, because I'm starting to have a pretty decent catalog of tracks that are like 90% there. And it's something I struggle with, to just get to that point where I say, okay, this is good enough to send to a label. And part of that is probably just fear, just worry that I guess I'm going to get no return. So for whatever reason, I hold myself back, but I'm working on that. So my goal is to write 8 new songs and then release 6 of the songs I've already written. So that's a simple goal. It's achievable, and it's something I could work back on. If I want to release 6 songs, how do I want to release that? Well, I'm thinking I would like to have 2 EPs and 2 singles, right? Two song EPs, 2 singles. I got good advice from Dead Space one time. I literally just met this guy at a techno show in Vegas. A really cool producer. Told me his DJ name, and I'm like, I listen to your music, man. What are you talking about? Really good guy, but he told me, if you really want to pop off in any scene, write a bunch of music and wait till you have 2 EPs worth of music and then release them 1 month apart. You're going to be the new hot up and coming guy, because your music's coming quickly. And then at that point, you got to keep a release schedule going. So that's my goal here this year: 2 EPs, 2 songs. Working back from that, okay, then I want to write that first EP by March 31st. I want to get that released. That means I need to finish 2 of my tracks, make sure that they're ready to send, and start sending to labels now, so that hopefully by March 31st, I can have a smaller label release that. And I also got to be working now on the rest of the year, a second EP. I'm probably going to have to send that out very soon too, because with a lot of labels, they're not going to be releasing that right away. They have their own timetable. So anyways, that's a little bit about my goals, guys. I guess thirdly, I'll share my last main goal is for this stream. I really want to give more to it, help it grow, really help get more producers in here learning and sharing knowledge with each other. So big goal there is I want to have 500, I think, subscribers on YouTube. And I just want to get 15 viewers on average here in the stream over the year. So we're going to take that average once a month, and hopefully over the year that should average out over 15. So we'll see if we can get that going, huh? Let your friends know. Click that share button. Help out your homie here, okay? Put my heart on the line. I don't get anything back, but it's okay. It's okay. I do it for the love. All right, guys. So that's it. Enough mumbo jumbo. I just wanted to share my goals with you guys and get you focused on making your own goals. Let me know in the comments. Let me know in the chat, what kind of things are you focused on this year? What do you think is going to make you a better producer? And use SMART goals. Go Google it up. SMART, SMART, stands for something. Can't remember all of them off the top of my head, so I'm not going to butcher it. But go Google that. Make yourself some SMART goals and get started this year on becoming a better producer. All right, guys. So today for the session here, I'm going to dive into Ableton Live. I'm going to start just a whole fresh thing here. This is going to be more of a sound design session. So like, going to be just trying to make some really cool sounds, really focused maybe on like 808. I have a track in mind that I want to go play with as a reference and see if there's anything from there that I can use as inspiration for some new sounds. This will be kind of like a session to just come up with sounds that I can use in a future track that I'm going to produce. So let's get into it. There we go. Ableton. My man. All right. So this is just my template you guys may have seen before. I like to start my fresh tracks from here, but I'm going to be using it today as kind of like a sound design. First thing you got to do when you open up your template, which I've forgotten a couple times, Command-Shift-S. We're going to save it in a whole new place. So I got original tracks. Let's see. Ideas. Whoops. And today is the 5th. Ideation session. Boom. And of course I did 2020, huh? 2021, let's do it. Ideation. How long will I do that this year? Okay. So first thing I want to do is I'm going to go grab a reference track. I have a track in mind, Franklin Watts. I've really been digging his music. I think he really embodies the sound that I'm going for. I'd like to make music similar to Franklin Watts. So I'm going to go study his music right now, man. And I think this is very important for producers to do, is to just study the guys that you love their music, man. It's not cheating. It's how you develop your own taste. It's how you develop your own flavor, if you will, is just by learning from the artists that you really enjoy, learning what your ears are naturally drawn to, and then figuring out what they're doing to create those sounds, and then starting to make a hodgepodge sound of your own that kind of combines all your favorite artists, all your favorite sounds into one unique sound, and that sound's going to be you. And I promise, man, it's not cheating as long as you're not stealing somebody's melody. If you're trying to, you can try to copy somebody's songs, and as long as you're not stealing their melodies, bro, it's always going to sound like your music. I promise you. Like, your music will come out, your sound comes out, and it's just a matter of finding it. So, okay, create that new folder there. So I'm just going to type Franklin Watts here. Shorty fine, booty fat. There we go. There it is. So just gonna drop that in my reference over here. Figure out what it's set to really quick. Looks like I actually might be on. Scratch that. That's why it's warped. Okay, so you want to make sure you turn off the warping on Ableton. Okay, so now as soon as I unwarped it, you can see that it was out of time. That's okay. Now I'm gonna turn the warp back on, but I'm actually gonna change it to repitch. And it's not 124, it's probably 125, it looks. So what I'm looking at here is, as I move the BPM here up and down, is I'm watching this little kick right here. So I can see the kicks right here. There's the downbeat, there's the downbeat. So I'm just looking at this little drum right there. And now watch as I move this up and down. Boom, it gets on in time in a 4-beat loop. Sometimes it's hard to tell with the intros, like if they don't have a kick right away. So the easiest way to do it is always to just jump to like the drop and go look at the drop here. So it looks like maybe I'm off. What's going on? Or does this, maybe he starts the bass early? Let's take a look. So this is definitely the downbeat here. So I'm going to move this over a couple beats till it's down. Now we can go look. Okay. So, oh yeah, see, it starts with this like little. So it starts with the offbeat. So there you go. That's why. So Ableton just cut it originally to that point. So there's no kick there. It's like an offbeat tom there. Cool. But really, now that I have that lined up, I'm going to move this whole thing back to the start, because I really want the drop to be here where I'm working. Bam. Okay, lined it up. It's at 125, repitched. It's lined up. You can tell it's lined up because if you just look, you can see where the kicks drop. It's on. So it's actually slightly off because for whatever reason. So what we can do, you know what it is that Ableton has a hard time finding the beginning of the clip. So yeah, it starts the clip here. I think maybe there. So as I'm moving this, my eyes focused here, trying to get this kick lined up. Just needs to be close enough. But yeah, so there's this dead space in the beginning of the track. Oh, whoops. There's this dead space here in the beginning of the track. So Ableton had a hard time figuring that out. So Ableton's just assuming that the beginning of the track was the first hit, but the first hit is an off hit. So we got to adjust that so that it's lined up, because if it's not lined up in our grid here, then it's not going to be lined up when we're referencing it. So let's just double check. Sometimes songs are weird. They have weird beats. They miss a beat and stuff. So you really just got to check and make sure that it lines up all the way down the line. It's always easy to focus at like 8-bar increments. So it's really easy to see here. We got another build here. Looks like a drop. Cool. So just make sure that this one is on. Sure is. Cool. So that's all we're doing there. Just getting our reference on beat. So now if I do Shift R, I listen to my reference. Cool. So they got some cool sounds in here. So one thing I really like to do is just like pay attention to songs like this, drop them in here and see kind of what they're doing musically. What do I find interesting about it? So for me right here, obviously this huge 808 is just ripping, but like he's not actually doing anything crazy with the 808. Look, it's on every downbeat, every bar, every quarter bar. Just a really short kick, and then the 808 opens up. And now the rest of the low end melody is coming just from the toms. If he had that same tom and there was like a more musical bass line, like with notes going up and down, I don't think it would work, man. I don't think this track would work because you're not leaving room for the musical idea, which is the toms. Cool. So let's do our own. So we need a little kick. We just need a little drum loop. Working samples. I love these Noizu drums lately. It's a little shorter kick, so I'm thinking this guy just will work better with a big bass. Make sure that when you do that, see how this little edge didn't go all the way to the quarter? You got to grab from the quarter before you duplicate, otherwise your kick's going to be off. If you start with your kick off, man, you ain't going to be going anywhere anytime soon. Oh yeah, juicy. Command L, do a quick loop. Okay, now we need a big old fat 808. Let's go 808. 808. My 808, Juanton Music, check it out. Well, I mean, this is a Sage Armstrong track, so it would make sense. Unless he kept all the good 808 samples to himself. Oh, that's nasty. I'm just gonna stick that in here for later just because I really like that. There's a fatty F sharp minor. I wouldn't mind F sharp minor. We could work with that. So I already have a bass audio track in my template, so I'm just gonna stick this on the bass audio track. I might actually end up sticking it in my MIDI. So my MIDI here. Oh look, I already got a bass. I wonder if it's any good. Boom, replaced it. Okay. Command Shift M is gonna give me a MIDI clip. We know it's F sharp minor. So right away you come to the root here, we're gonna change it to F sharp, and because it's a because this is like a kick, I know that it's like the first octave, so I'm just gonna drop it down to F sharp 1. All that means, it really doesn't matter. This doesn't matter right here. The root is just saying like whatever you say the root is here, the root will be here. So now if I go look in the MIDI and I go to F sharp 1, this will be the same sample. It's way quieter, obviously, because if you go to filter global, the volume is -12. I'm gonna set it to -1 so that we're not too hot, but I assume that this sample was recorded hot. Oh yeah. So those are roughly the same. Pretty sure this is a decibel higher, so I'm gonna go -1 just so we know we're comparing apples to apples. Yeah, the same, right? So shouldn't matter. You set the root here in sampler, and then boop, and then you just match it with whatever key here. It's very important to do the root so that if you're writing a melody, anything besides just a single note, then you're going to want to know what it is you're doing. Otherwise, this will say F sharp when really it's a C kind of thing. Anyway, turn this one off for now as we don't need it. Oh, I'm going to turn this off. I got some drums in here too. Let's get rid of these drums. Bye, drums. Pretty close, huh? Dude, is this the same bass? Am I tripping? Or does that bass sound exactly the same? Like the tone of it is actually very similar. See if I could do. Like if I tried to make my own 808 the same as his, I would spend all day spinning my wheels and it wouldn't come anywhere close. And this one is like super close. So I wouldn't be surprised. If so, that's dope. Sage Armstrong, sharing the love. I like to see that. Don't be a greedy producer, man. Life's too short to not share. Okay. Now, in this case, I would consider this stealing because I'm like straight up copying a song, but I'm only doing this for learning purposes. I'm not going to be doing this exact thing. If I did, I would have all sorts of different synths, whatever, different musical idea, but definitely okay to draw some inspiration from it. So next up, I want just a clap and an open hat from Noizu. Again, just these ones are just too crunchy not to be using them in every single track right now. Clap, clap. Actually, I could do a loop. Oh, it's a good one. It's a good one. See what I'm saying? They're all killer, man. Noizu, you're a beast. Ah, that one's just nice and sexy. One thing not to fall into, man, is if you're a newer producer and you just don't know how to pick good samples, like it's okay. Your ear's gonna develop over time. So like How do you pick good samples when you don't know what good samples sound like? You reference, bro. You reference. Don't forget that. You go pick a song you like, listen to that track, say, okay, well, how does this clap sound? And then do your best to pick like 20, 30 claps, that you think are close, and then drop them into your DAW. And just one by one, listen to your clap, listen to that clap, listen to your clap, listen to that clap, until it gets close enough. And then you're like, okay, great, I got a good sample. You do this 2, 3, 4 songs that you work on, you're going to start knowing what a good clap sounds like. I promise you. Do it with everything. Claps, open hats, kicks, bass sounds. You don't know what sounds good yet. It's okay. You got to train your ear. That's how you do it. Okay, and then we need an open hat. So hi-hats closed. We don't want a closed hat. We want an open hat. There's a couple here at the end that are similar. I'm looking for a different timbre. That one's kind of weird. Whoops. How about I have samples from Mars. I bought this huge pack. It's got 808 from Mars. I don't think this is an 808 hat though. Do your best, Tina. Bosberger's reference. If you know, you know. Okay, let's see. Okay. So I do work out of my working samples more often than not. So this is where I start. Tool Room. ZDS maybe. Nope. Vangelis Konstantinakis. Can't go wrong. That's a little closer to the timbre. We might be able to layer this as part of it. So tops, open hat track. Actually, I'm gonna select track content, delete. Got some old stuff laying around. Okay, we're going in here. We got to make sure that right here it says 16ths. Command 1 and 2 will go up and down respectively. And we're gonna do every off 16th. Nope, every off 8th. Duh. Is your main hat. Every off 8th. 16ths like you want to do fast hats. Kind of weak. Oh, it's probably because of volume. kind of like that little knock, and I kind of don't. Okay, find a few more. ZDS. Oh, we didn't like his already. Sorry, ZDS. You're dope, but no good hats. Mark Knight. Can't go wrong. I might have used every single one in here already, though. I'm looking for something real tingy. You know what? I know where I'm missing out here is Vengeance. Where's my Vengeance stuff? Vengeance. Essential Tech House Volume 1, baby. This is literally just like the best all-around drum kit. Just like you need a cymbal, got a great cymbal in here every time. So hats are cymbals, by the way. So are rides and crashes. So I think this is, I don't know, kind of sounds like a closed hat. Maybe they just like really put some processing to it. A little too tingy. Maybe that one. Kind of sounds good together. Okay, and then the final, see, so far all that has been pretty simple, super simple rhythms. We're like doing quarters. And now the only main rhythmical thing that's really leading the way is that tom. So let's get a nice little tom. I used to put toms in my drum group or my bass group, but now I actually put in my drum group because I feel like it should be processed along with your drums. If you're doing like similar saturation on top or like some kind of distortion, parallel distortion, because a drummer would have the tom in the drum, I guess the kick as well. So kick sometimes go into the drum. You have a drums bus these days. Yeah, there we go. So I could put it wherever. It doesn't really matter because it's all just going to go to the drums bus anyway. Bart. Let me see here. Got a rack. I'll probably do it in a rack. Tom. Finding a good tom is the key here. Samples. Really want to keep 808 style toms. That's my ish. It's going to work with the 808 bass really well too. Might end up even changing my kick to a little 808 kick. I don't know. We'll see. So it's important when you're doing toms. An original tom kit is going to have a high tom, a mid tom, and a low tom. 808, I think there's even like only a high and a low, or like a mid and a low. But it's important that you can
I think at least that it would be important to use one of each that maybe match each other, or to, I mean, you could just have one tom and then have a second tom that's like a few semitones down, something like that. Um, but I think for the best quality sound, it's best to like get a low tom sample and get a mid tom or a high tom sample that were recorded in that register, and get two that work together or seem to work together really well, whether or not they were recorded together. Um, Now, specifically, this 808 pack from 808 from Mars, samples from Mars, they have like the clean folder and the color folder. Clean is just going to be like probably their straight recorded sample. Yeah. They got a few there. And then they have this other one probably recorded on a tape machine. Otherwise, I'm sure it's untouched. And then finally, they have the color one, which, as you can see, that means they saturated these ones themselves. And these ones, just a couple other random ones. So it's nice to have those choices. We'll see how the color ones sound. So these samples are recorded quietly. So see how you got your master volume here. The one next to it, open my info for you guys. The one next to it is your preview Q volume. So I could turn this up really quick because these are quiet, and now I can kind of preview them at a louder volume. Cool. So I like some of those. Let's hear the clean versions, I guess. See if there's anything we're missing. Tape, I would prefer tape. Give me that warmth. Actually sound really good. Yeah, it's pretty close, huh? Okay, so where's my toms? Drum rack here. Open it up. I'm just gonna take this guy, drop it in here. I'm gonna pick a few. So that's a mid. I'm gonna keep the mids next to each other. I'm gonna keep the high toms next to each other. His probably doesn't actually call for a high tom. Sounds like he's using one tom. Dum 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 dum. It's probably, he probably just drops it a semitone or two. But I might end up using both toms. I like having two toms to choose from. All right, and we'll get a low tom. Okay. Command Shift F. We're probably going to be working in 16ths, so I'm just going to try to copy his melody and see kind of what he's doing, just so we can take a look. It's all about research. It's all about learning, right? Doesn't sound like it's there. It sounds like it's here. Dum, 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 dum. Dum, 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 dum. Okay, samples are super quiet, so I'm going to come in here. For each sample individually, you're going to turn the volume up to 0. Dum 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 dum. All right. So the most important thing when you're trying to make something rhythmic, man, is right away changing up your velocities and maybe changing up the timing. So it'd be a good time to add some swing. Um, so far, everything we've done has been on the downbeat. So this can basically be the only thing that's swung, and it'll really give it some feel. Let's play around with Ableton swings. I feel like I don't do that a lot. Sometimes I just do my own, but let's just play around. If we go to click this, it opens up hot swap mode. See the hot swap up here. So that means as I click these things, they're going to be swapping that groove in immediately, and then I'll be able to hear what it sounds like. But you won't see anything change on here until we commit it, and I'll show you guys that. So let's see. I personally would go for the MPC because I know that the MPC, I'm assuming that this MPC swing is based on an actual MPC. So that's cool. I know that swing, that drum machine is used a lot in house. So if I pick a swing from there, it'd be something that would probably translate well. So with the SP1200, that's heavily used through a lot of electronic genres. But I would stay away from the 8 swing. If you read up on the difference between 8 swing and 16th swing, 8 swing would like, it would add like small swings on the 8th notes, and you don't want to be doing that in house and techno because it'll just sound really weird having swing on an 8th note. We really just do it on 16th notes. So every off 16th will get shifted a bit. So anyways, we're going to just listen to some of these. I find it's really hard to hear swing, but you can kind of feel when it's not there. So it feels a little robotic. So by going through some of these and see if they feel any better. 50 is probably too low. Let's see, 55. Probably just MPC swing like this. The higher values are going to be swing more aggressively. So you can hear it there. So I think that one sounds like a good swing, matches the song. Okay, so now we see if I hit commit, so you can see the groove pull here. What's cool is this groove pull, like now that I've added this MPC 16 swing 56 here, this is now going to be in the groove pull anytime. It's going to be in this drop down on any clip for the rest of this track, which is really cool. So we're going to do MPC 16 swing. Now I'm going to hit commit really quick just to show you what it's doing here. But you don't have to commit it. So hit commit, boom. And now if we look really closely here, we're going to start to see some things. Specifically the off 16ths, we'll start there first. So we have 16th notes down here. So this would be on, off, on, off. And you can see how it extended that note. Look, it extended it longer than the downbeat. On, off, on, off. Now here's our first note that swung. This is off 16th, and it swung this amount right here. Boom, whatever that is. And sometimes, so I've shown this before, but I'll show you guys again. do command 1, command 1, command 1 until we can see like a direct correlation with how long this is. Command 1. From the off here. There you go. So, however many 4,096ths that is. But so you can see this distance is your swing. This is how much that is being swung. So now for the rest of your track, when you're trying to swing things, you just want to make sure that it matches. And since we know that this is our tom, and our tom is kind of like the leader of the pack here in swing, then all you really got to do is just make sure you're lining things up. So if you have like a sample up here that you're working on, just like zoom in really close here. See where my tom is swung to, and then you can move your sample just over. Watch, I'll show you. So imagine that this is a full sample here. I would just move this until it lines up there. It's not rocket science, guys. That's all you're doing. Of course, assume that this is like your transient because it's literally nothing. Like that. Okay. So there's your transient. We just line up our transient with where our tom is. And then as you're getting really close and you're trying to fine tune it, what you can do is you just click here, right? Start dragging it around. It's going to want to click into things. But if you hold command, it's going to let you just kind of like free ride it. And now I just got to line up this vertical white line with my MIDI, and boom, it would be on. So then I know that this kick would be at the same swing as my toms. Of course, I don't want that though, so I'm going to get rid of it. All right, continuing on. The other thing we want to look at, so we have that swing there. It should have done some small adjustments to the volumes here, to the velocities. Just ever so adjusted, hitting this one just that tiny bit heavier. And if you're not hearing any velocity change, or if you want to go up and down in velocity change, you can make sure you come in here. Let me see, it's this mid one here. See this velocity less than volume less than velocity kind of thing. This is how much the velocity is going to be affected by the velocity in the clip. So it tells you right here. Far left info window. Simpler's volume can be modulated by the velocity of incoming MIDI notes. This determines the depth of modulation. So if I really want to hear it, I could crank this up to 100. And so there's not a lot of velocity variation here, but if I was to, like, let's say turn this one way up. Cool. And if you turn this all the way down, it should sound just completely flat. Damn. Doing it on the wrong one. So if I turn this way up now, and if I turn it way down, they're going to be at the exact same velocity. It's like exact same volume. But I think somewhere in the middle is always just good, 50%. Oh yeah, we can get rid of this now. There we go. So I hope you guys can see the value of just like copying music from, your favorite producers and seeing what they're doing and seeing kind of like how you should be building your songs. Like, oh, okay, I see now they're just using like probably 1 or 2 808s every uh, every off note, every note and off note, down note and off note, I guess. And then they just got the kick gear and they got the open hat. Oh wow, look, the only thing that's really musical is the tom. So like that's telling me right now, like that's where I need to focus my musical idea. So take this a step further. I'm gonna just duplicate that. Now I'm gonna turn that one off and make my own. I like 16ths. Don't really need to go away from 16ths. I like skipping 2/16. I feel like that creates a really cool rhythmic movement, if you will. Some downbeats never hurt. Okay, so I'm already starting to dig this. Of course, we're just doing a 1-bar loop, so I want to kind of extend this to 4 bars really quick because that's when I really start to add some variation to my loops. Don't really use this one. We're going to make this 4 bars. Okay, what's not going? The open hats. No, I'm not a big fan of this double. Okay, it's kind of already bugging my ear, but I need to put a freaking side chain on this bass. I'm just going to do Kickstart, man. Can't go wrong. Kickstart by Nicky Romero. Shout out Nicky Romero. I don't get any, what is the word? I don't get any kickbacks on these products, guys. Just to let you know, I only tell you guys the plugins that I use. Affiliate marketing is what it's called. Maybe one day I'll get some affiliate links up. That'd be a great way for me to start making some money to support my music production habit, if you guys know what I mean. But until then, man, just know that any plugins I tell you guys about, man, it's not because I'm sponsored by some plugin or I'm trying to get you to buy some crap. Like, I really stand behind these plugins. They're top notch. Nicky Romero is a great, pretty sure he's a great producer, man, and he made some pretty cool tools. And this one specifically will save you so much time. Stop using Ableton compressor for your side chains. 100% on everything. There's no need unless you really need to fine tune it. This sucker sounds great. You just drop the mix down a bit and just pick the right chain. I might even just have this stuff not even play until the end. semitone. All right. I'm already starting to get some kind of ideas playing around with this stuff. This bass acid is sick. Maybe I could turn this into like an instrument or something and really play around with chopping that up. F minor probably needs to come up one. I'm pretty sure everything else F sharp. Well, actually, I haven't checked the toms yet. I guess I'm kind of just assuming. So I know this is F sharp. I'm going to put it right here. F sharp. F sharp. Let's do it real quick. We grab my Spectrum. This is my handy dandy Spectrum right here. We're going to open this sucker up. Look at our kick. So our kick is hitting like G sharp. There's two ways you can go when you're trying to line. You need to line up your kick and your bass. So obviously, you need to be in the same key. For this, I think I'm probably just gonna run with F sharp. I like the way that 808 sounds, and it's an F sharp. So we need to make sure everything else fits the F sharp scale. It doesn't mean that everything has to be F sharp specifically, although it should be used quite a bit throughout your track because that's the key of your track. But everything should fall to a note in the scale. So I do like to use regular F sharp minor, but I sometimes like to use F sharp harmonic minor. And the only difference between the two scales, you take your seventh note in the scale and you actually move it up an octave, or up, not an octave, up a semitone. And what that ends up doing, it creates some cool intervals within the scale that I think you can't get in just the regular minor scale. But anyway, so I'm probably gonna be doing F sharp harmonic minor. You can look that up. Basicmusictheory.com has really good like scale sheets, show you the differences. So my kick's G, right? G sharp. My track's in F sharp. I want to have, you can have the kick and the bass doing the exact same note, but like if we just use some common sense and deduction, we can figure out that if our kick and our bass are hitting the same exact frequency, the exact same time, they're going to be fighting with each other. Shocker. So a really good technique, guys, is to do like your kick and your bass at a different note, at least like whatever is the most common note in your bass, like should not be the exact same note as your kick, so that they can have different place in the frequency, so that they can have more room to speak, more room to like be as loud as possible in your track, especially your kick and your bass, man. That's your staple in tech house music and techno music. So I'm thinking like a third or a fifth would be like a great tone to use in the scale for the kick if I'm going to be using my bass as my root note, F sharp. So the third for F sharp, I think should be G sharp, root, whole, half. So it's a half semitone above G sharp, half semitone above G sharp, which is A. So let's take our kick, transpose it one. We'll see how that sounds. Another way to do that is to maybe use like, move the original over here, mute it, delete all these guys, and then okay, just the kick and the bass, make sure those are sounding decent together. And I think that sounds good. Just so I know, I'm gonna check my frequency spectrum. Oh, my master channel. Okay, my kick might be too loud. No, kick is perfect. Bass. So they're fighting each other right there at that frequency, because look, as soon as I hit the kick, that comes way up here. So at that frequency, they're both hitting, and that sum of that is going to be increasing the peak, and I want to keep my peak around -6 dBs. So I think I'm going to let the bass be bigger in this track. So maybe I'll turn my kick down a bit. Don't need that much kick. And I'm going to go grab LFO tool. I'm going to stick it on my kick. Stick it on early over here. And what I'm actually going to do with LFO tool is I'm going to try to shape the kick a bit so we can see the kick. And I don't really need this stuff because I know that the bass is going to come up and it's going to be loud and in your face, and I want that bass to be driving. So really, I only need like this little sliver of the kick here. So create a new point. You just double click to create points. We're going to turn up the snap to 16. And now if you hold Option, you see how it snaps to the grid there? I'm just going to do a little snap here. This is going to let go of the filter, let go of the LFO tool volume, so that when it starts, the full kick comes in. You're not going to create a click. If you have this all the way here, it might click. So I'm going to go back one a little bit there. And then I'm going to use this to shape how much kick I want. See, now we're not fighting for that -6 dB peak already. But let's see how the kick is. Yeah, so the kick's a lot quieter. I actually want to bring the kick up a bit now. Like to try to get it up closer to like 12 dBs. Might be a little too much. Let's release that a bit. Cool. So you see where my kick frequency is hitting right here. That seems to be off. C, and it should be A. That actually is okay though, because I think C might be the fifth root whole half. It's always easy to tell if we just look at some MIDI. F sharp, root, skip a whole, half, whole, half, whole. There's my scale. Now I was mentioning earlier, by the way, that the harmonic minor, I would just lift this up, which is crazy, right? You lift this up now. Instead of using E in your track, you'd use F in your track. Now F is only a semitone below F sharp. Which is crazy because this is your root note, so you're using like one semitone underneath your root note. But it makes some really, really cool sounding intervals. And now look how you have this 2-note gap between the D and the F too. That's a whole nother interval that you can play with. So really cool harmonic minor. Look it up. But anyways, I like to do this sometimes just to see what's in my scale. So in our case, the fifth was A2, and then the third was A2. The fifth is C sharp, and I think that our kick was hitting at C. Let's go see. Let's go see. See what we did there. When it's really round like that too, you can kind of zoom, get really close. So this is definitely hitting around C. So I'm going to go up a semitone again. I think that changing it with the filter removed the body and left more of the transient, and the transient happened to be closer to C than to A. So, okay, that's fine. We're just going to go up one, see if that gets us where we want. And then make sure that we... Once again, duplicate our track out. Make sure this is still on. Sure is. Okay. C sharp. Sick. Okay, so our kick and our bass are sounding good. Okay, and then let's get that drum sounding good, that toms. So we're gonna open up our tom rack. So this is his and this is ours. Tom's what? Tom's shoes. Okay, so now what I like to do is actually look back over here when I have a drum rack, because if I go look at the toms, I can open it up and then I could treat each track as its own track here, which is a lot nicer to work with in my opinion. So now I'm gonna actually go here, but I'm gonna put the spectrum on the toms just so that I can check them all at the same time. I've already opened a few spectrums, so be careful adding too many spectrums. So annoying. Be careful adding too many spectrums, because I think if you have like 10, 15, they could really start to eat up your CPU. We're chilling right now, so seems to be good. But once you start having a bunch of tracks, if you just leave all these spectrums on, turned on, and in your channel, they're gonna eat some CPU. So it doesn't really matter this early on, though. Just saying. So we're gonna open up Spectrum. We're gonna listen to the mid tom first, solo that. So I would say that this is probably E. If we go look at our scale. E would be in the regular minor scale, so maybe we'll stick with that. Maybe I'll lift it up to the F just to be fun. You can try tuner sometimes. Tuner can be finicky. Now if I go back here and I just do only the mid tom. So it's like right on the edge of F and E, maybe. If I can get that to be E sharp instead. I guess there's no E sharp, it would just be F. That would be sweet. So what we can do is we just go over here, click on our mid, go to transpose. We're gonna go up one. So I think it's about F here. So the tuner is pretty close there. Drums are good with tuner. Try to do like synths or kicks or stuff. It can be difficult to nail it down, but that's another way to see. Don't always trust every single tool, use different tools, trust your ear. How does it sound? Kind of put all that information together and make the best decision you can. Okay, so I think that would put this mid tom 808. I would say F sharp, no F. Okay, and then I have the low as well, so we're just gonna go to low. We're gonna solo that. Oh, I was doing the high. First of all, it's way too loud. Low 808. We're gonna turn that down. That's why it's so loud, because I had the volume velocity all the way up from earlier when I was playing around. Okay, that's more manageable. And we could even turn that down a bit. Tom low. Oh, but you know what it is that the toms group is turned down. No, it's not. No, we're fine. -9, that's closer to where I want it to be. Okay, and what is the note? The note is G sharp. Maybe I would like this one to be F, I think, as well. So if we go G sharp, we're gonna go down 1 to G, 1 to F sharp, 1 more to F. We'll see how that sounds. Yeah, listen to it in the mix. Not really gonna do much. Okay. So when I'm really comparing them, I can tell that my bass doesn't really hit as fat. So I definitely got to spend some time trying to get my bass nice and fat. And a big part of that is getting other things out of the way of it too. It sounds like the toms and stuff I'm adding are adding a lot of low end. So gonna have to kind of make sure that those play well together. EQ, side chains. So it's pretty cool. Let's go listen to a couple other parts of this track, see What other sounds we can work on?
Fat, shorty fine, booty fat, shorty fat, shorty fine, fat. Fat, shorty fine, booty 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 fat, shorty fine.
This track goes so hard.
Shorty fine, booty fat, shorty fine, booty fat, shorty fine, booty fat, shorty fine, booty
So lots of sounds. He's got like this little.
fat, shorty fine, booty fat.
Saturated fart. Okay, let's see here. Do I have any farts in here? Okay, my bad. I guess I did. These ones are sick, actually, right here.
Fat, shorty fine, booty fat, fat, shorty fine.
So I'm just gonna take what I have over here, duplicate it, boom, stick it right here.
Fat,
Uh,
shorty fine, fat, shorty fine, fat, shorty fine, fat, shorty fine, booty fat, shorty fine, booty fat, fat, shorty fine, booty.
okay, we're gonna go Command T. We'll put scale.
Fat, shorty fine, booty fat.
F sharp, I guess. Kind of like that one. Let's see. Audio. Let's do actually. No, let's do audio. F sharp.
Fat, shorty fine, booty fat, fat, shorty fine, booty fat. Fat, shorty fine, booty.
She want to do this. F sharp 0 root. Sick. Sampler. F sharp. F sharp. F sharp. Okay, we're gonna fold it. Boom.
Fat, shorty fine, fat, shorty fine, fat, shorty fine, booty fat, fat, shorty fine, booty.
Okay, let's see what we can do. I want to put arpeggiator on it to make it go whoop 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 whoop. See if we can get that going. Maybe 16ths. Filter global. We got to turn this volume up to 0. Sample. Okay. To get the basic thing, I'm going to use sound shifter because it's definitely pitch shifting. Just going to click this, press A. Now I got the pitch here in my automation lane. Hit the plus so that it stays in its own lane. Oh, whoops. Gotta want to do that here. Not that much. Decapitator? What do you say? Probably use LFO tool, my favorite. Here we go. Okay, don't need these for now. Actually, maybe the utility. Turn it up. LFO tool. Decapitator, I'm just going to do something nasty. Here we go. Bass, beefy, dark fat. Got to turn off this LFO really quick. Okay, now I'm trying an LFO tool. I'm going to play with some presets. Gonna loop this section really quick. I'm not really getting what I'm wanting here. So I'm gonna init. I think we want something in the 16ths. Wait, no. don't know if LFO is really giving me what I want. And it might just be the arpeggiator. Let me turn that off. Kind of digging that. Instead of 1.5 bars, let's try this. Nothing there. Okay, I need to move this EQ over here. Take out the low end on this thing. Okay, back to Corpus. Just playing around with Corpus. Corpus is a resonator. It changes. So like imagine this thing essentially changes the way that you're striking the instrument, if you will. So like let's say that you have a guitar pluck, but you don't want it to sound like a guitar pluck. You want it to sound like somebody hitting a pipe, right? You want it to have a different type of envelope, if you will, something that kind of matches that. That's what Corpus does. Corpus is like making something sound like it was plucked, making something sound like I don't know, it's a metal needle, I guess. I don't know, but you just kind of play around with this sometimes. It really give you some good good changes to your sound. It's really more of a sound design tool, like you're trying to make something completely new. This is really a good one to play with. turn off these LFOs. That's cool. Still not crazy about it. Kind of just want to keep playing with this. Maybe just put some overdrive. And let's just play with some delay. Oh, duh. Minus 20 makes way more sense. All right, guys, that's pretty cool. Digging this so far, just kind of playing around, just trying to make cool sounds. Not everything has turned into a song. A lot of times, this is what I'm really doing is just studying music, studying producers that I really look up to, figuring out like what makes their songs sound the way they do. So, you know, right here, I'm just doing a little session focusing on like getting that fat 808 and kind of seeing what he's doing with his drums and maybe making some cool sounds. But another time I might open up this track and really go through and see as the track's progressing, like how is he changing up the groove? How is he taking the main idea and manipulating it? What is he adding and when? Like sometimes he does like this cool. See if I can find an example.
Fat, shorty fine, booty fat, shorty fine, booty fat, shorty fat, shorty fine, booty, shorty fine, fat, shorty fine, booty fat, shorty fine.
So you like listen to the bass, right? The bass boom, boom all the time in the track. But right here on this downbeat, right when the drop starts from this breakdown, listen what happens. So right here, he just for 1 second goes up an octave, up a semitone, up a few semitones, up an octave maybe with his sub bass. It goes dun woo, dun dun, and then back to dun dun dun. You hear that? So like those are the kind of things that I would come in here and look for and be like, oh, okay, so only once every so often he's gonna go up a semitone or up two semitones, whatever it is, with his bass. So maybe I can do that on my track. I can have a few moments where I do stuff like that. So that's another way to really be using your reference tracks. And I'm planning, guys, one of my first videos this year. I think I'm gonna release it as a video on YouTube. It's going to be a little more fully featured. I'm going to spend time editing the video to get it right, and it's going to be a little more long-winded. But I'm going to make like how to reference a track. I'm going to make a whole video on it. I'm going to bring the track in. I'm going to show you from start to end how I go in there and I copy down, like see where they're bringing in sounds, see which drums they're using and where, how I do that for the whole track. I call it a story map. I got the name from Zermello, who did this in a video, and it really opened my mind to like how to be researching music, how to be looking at my favorite artists and to be emulating what they do. So I'm going to be showing you guys how I do that. I'm going to pick a good track. If you guys have any ideas for tracks that you'd like to see a breakdown of, please let me know in the comments down below or in the chat. If you're over here live with us on Twitch, just let me know any good song ideas. If I don't get too many requests, I'll pick one of my favorite tracks. And yeah, expect that video probably sometime in February. I'll let you guys know when I get that up on YouTube. But it's been a request from some viewers just to have a more in-depth dive into referencing. So that'll be the first video where I really show you guys that. Very, very powerful, guys. Referencing is so important if you're a new producer, if you're just starting to develop. Anyways, guys, I think I'm going to call it here. Kind of a longer session. Just do a little peek in my emails. Cool. So, cool. We're going to end it here, guys. I'll see you back here next Tuesday night where I'm going to be continuing production here. Have our first guest appearance